Alright guys, welcome to the Road Rage episode, man, and today I'm going to show you guys how to do a cam swap without removing the heads. So just stay tuned for that, man. If you don't know, man, this is the next build on the channel, man. This is another custom car, the LS Monte Carlo that I told you guys about, and we're going to jump in doing the cam on it today. And although we are changing out the heads, I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys, so I hope you guys can really appreciate the extra time it took to go get the supplies to do this, rather than just taking off the heads from the get-go. And also, if you haven't seen the giveaway video, go ahead and check that out, because that will tell you how to enter to win the giveaway. Alright guys, so typically what you want to do is you want to rotate the crank till the indicator, which is circle here, and there's one down here. If you can see that indent in that lower crank gear are aligned. So if you're not doing it with the heads on, all you have to really do is allow the number one piston to be top dead center, and then you can do it, you know, from there. But if you're doing it with the heads on, you want to do it this way. That way, when you unbolt the timing gear, you can just directly bolt on the new cam with the timing gear, and everything should be aligned. If you understand how four-stroke engines work, you'll see. Then I don't really need to explain it. But what will end up happening is, for every one revolution of the timing gear, it is 2 revolutions of the crank gear. So if I continue to rotate this, what will end up happening is the center dot will be at 12 o'clock, even when the bottom is in its proper position, which would be also 12 o'clock. But to do it, if you already have a cam in it, it helps you out a lot if you just go ahead and just center the cam gear at 6 o'clock down at the bottom, and the crank gear at 12 o'clock, and then they should be pointing directly at each other. You want to get that as lined up as possible, and then from there, what you want to do is not to touch the crank after that. That way, you know, your timing stays on point. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is remove the timing gear, which you'll see next. Then there's the cam plate that holds the cam plate in, and then I'll show you guys how to properly insert these rods so that your lifters don't fall. Oh, and also, by the way, you have to remove the rockers. That way it doesn't leave pressure on the cam. But what will end up happening is the lifters will be pushed down onto the cam, along with the push rods and everything else, and the cam will not come out. Listen, you can fight for it for days and it will not come out. So being that I had to already rotate this, so normally I'd recommend rotating the engine at least 2 times to make sure all the lifters are up, but I literally did, you know, a whole revolution, and I had already spent it a couple times prior, so all the lifters should be up in place, and we're just gonna go ahead and stick the rods and see if we can get this cam out. Next thing you want to do, you want these 5 5/16 rods, and you won't be really able to see it, but the hole's actually shaped, there you go, more like a D, and that's the reason why, I don't know if you can see how it's like a half circle, and that's the reason why you want to use the wooden dowels, because they were actually flexed. These pieces of woods are not actually hard, they're not hard enough to where they would damage the block. They're actually soft enough that the block will actually mold this. But what you want to do is you want to actually take a razor blade and just shave off the about a 1/4 inch of it into the right shape. That way, you know, you can get it started properly. And once you push it in, the wood will actually conform to it, man. These things are very, you know, flexible. They will give, so it's not really an issue. I mean, you can clean them up afterwards and reuse them, but they're only, I think, like 60 cents or something like that. So typically just toss them out when we're done and buy another set when we need them. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and get right back to it. So this is almost the shape you want to get, that half a circle. It's really a D. And just insert it just like this at the same angle. And it should go in with no resistance. Push it all the way to the back till it hit the back of the block. And now you know you're good. You know there's no lifters in the way also if it goes straight through with no problem. And hopefully the lifter's not under it. Ladies and gentlemen, out with the little dick. Next up is the big dick. When you take these things out, you want to look for any score marks on them. This will also help you determine if you're, you know, if you may possibly split a bearing, or if anything is not how it should be. For the most part, the cam actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna shine a flashlight into the block, see if I can take a look at the first couple rings. But I think everything on here is just fine, man. It'll be nice and gentle.
There you have it.
Alright, so what you want to do once you get done, I totally forgot to record the putting it back together, is you want to go ahead and put the cover that holds the cam, put that in place. I typically just put just a very, very light dab of the red Loctite on it. A lot of people say it's not necessary, but I just always put just a light tab. You put that back on. The cam should already be in, and then what you do is you take the timing gear and you put it on the cam. You put the 3 bolts in and you spin it. Okay, you spin it to where what ends up happening is you spin it to where you get the timing dot, which is now on this side because I've already spin the motor out over several times. Back align the way you took it off, right? You want it to line back with the dot the way you took it off. And you want to hold the timing gear. Then you want to take the 3 bolts out, lower the timing gear, put the chain over it, and as long as you hold it about right here, you can kind of just adjust it as needed, just tilt it a little bit right and left. And what you want to look for is that the dots are aligned and that the diode is aligned so that you can just bring it all up in one motion and then push it over. And everything should line up exactly the way you took it off. And then you can spin the motor over just to make sure everything is the way it is. One time, when you spin it, you should get the dot up here and the timing dot at the bottom. Spin it 2 more times. You should then get the dot down here and the timing dot. So 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock confirms. 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Sorry guys. Confirms that it is done correctly. But honestly, guys, that's it. Oil pump is an oil pump. They typically don't go bad often, but I like to also change them while I have it out. Sorry about that. I like to change them while I have it out. Changing the oil pan, so I'll probably do the oil pan next. I don't know if I'll make a video on that, man. Everybody pretty much knows how to change the oil pan at this point. It's just a matter of taking the bolts, dropping it down, and then putting the gasket and the oil pan back on. That's really it. I just really wanted to show you guys how to do a cam swap on the LS's without removing the heads. Even though I'm pretty sure we're going to be changing these heads out, I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys and just burden myself by doing it this way, which is a little bit more work than just taking off the heads, depending on what time of day it is. But it's fairly simple. That's pretty much it. And yeah. All right, guys, man, that's really it. I could have just taken off the heads since we're changing the heads anyway, but I really wanted to show you guys how to actually do a cam job without removing the heads with the 5/16 diodes, how to slide those in and make sure the lifters don't fall. So just go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and if you haven't already saw the giveaway video, go ahead and check that out. That'll show you how to enter to win some cash, okay? So just stay tuned, hit the post notification bell, because we're going to continue building this motor and then getting it into the Monte Carlo. So until next time, peace.